in. MOB, I see gang niggas tap in. Yeah, tap. Got a itty bitty waist, pretty in the face. Never let a broke nigga take you on his date. Haters can't relate, bitch, I've never been fake. I got a real nigga putting icing on my plate. Icy from my lips to my fingers to my toenails. Dripping in Chanel night, this ain't going on sale. All these hoes pussy, baby, I do not do friends well. A lot of niggas pussy, but I promise that I won't tell. Now what's my favorite word? Icy. Bitch gon' smile, but I know she don't like me. 200 for a verse, bitch, I'm way too pricey. Fuck around and bring back hyphy. Little waist, fat ass, bitch, tap in. Tap in. Diamonds dancing on your neck, nigga, tap in.
Hey.
Tap in. Fuck a nigga, get rich, bitch, tap in.
Why do I always do that?
MOB, I see gang niggas
I'm like
tap
waving,
in.
but it's like turning around.
Tap in.
Oh, we on time today. Oh, we are prompt. We are prompt. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ladies
always
and
on time.
gentlemen, Mickey Facts on time.
What's up, man?
How are you? How you been?
I'm good. How are you?
Maintaining, doing the
So
best
people
that
show
I
up late? People show up late for your joint?
Yeah, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You get people that be like, give me like 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. I mean, I figured since we were in the house that everybody would kind of like be like around, but people be busy.
So what we gonna need for you to do, right? We're gonna need for you to back up a little bit, just a little, so we can see the hair. Cause the hair right now, you killing right now. You
You
looking
think
like
so?
yes. You gotta. I think
I would
everybody
back up
needs
a
to.
little bit because I want everybody to see my shirt too.
Yes. So maybe pull the phone back a little bit.
So
We
I
gotta
have to
see
back
the.
all the way up. But see, I can't see you.
Oh man,
I
yeah.
can barely see you.
Oh man, that it's right there. Look at that. Ooh, look.
So
Ooh, wee.
it's
Now
been, I
that
don't know how long it's been since I've seen you in the flesh.
I want to say 2017 game night.
I feel like, yes, you're absolutely right. It's been about 3
Game night.
years.
Game night.
We need to do something about that soon. Hopefully when all this madness is over.
That'll
But
be
I
nice.
definitely wanted to get you on. Of course, when I first, decided to do this, you were like one of the first people that I wanted to do the interviews with. I definitely reached out to you first before I started to do the lives. And I wanted to just basically give you I don't think enough people give you your flowers while you're here. But I'm giving all my friends their flowers. So I'm taking this opportunity to interview all my people,
That's love.
share their story, give out as much free game as they're willing to give to the people. There's a lot going on right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know who you are, but I'm not sure if everybody else know who you are.
Mickey Fax from the Bronx, hip hop artist, entrepreneur, father, husband, that's about it, man. I just do a lot. I mentor, I think people will get the gist of who I am during this interview. You know what I'm saying? So, I think with your questions, I think people will kind of get an understanding of who I am and what I represent and what I'm about. You know what I mean?
So you was born in the Bronx.
I was born in Harlem.
Oh.
Shout out to Forster. Shout out to Forster Projects. I was born in Harlem, and we moved to the Bronx when I was 8 years old.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
So being, we live by the code. Wherever you went to school at, that's where you from. Especially if you live wherever you went to school at.
Exactly.
That's where you're from. So I'm from the Bronx, New York, but I was born in Harlem. You know what I'm saying?
And so where did you get the name Mickey from? Because I know Mickey's definitely not your real name, but where did Mickey come from?
So Mickey came from Natural Born Killers. I was watching Natural Born Killers with this girl who we were starting a rap group. Mm-hmm. And I had gone by the name Renegade before. And I was like, I don't think I should keep this name. So she was like, yo, we should be called Mickey and Mallory. And I was like, oh, that's hard. Let's do that. But I need to know what the movie's about. So when we watched the movie, I was like, oh, I like this Mickey character. I could take that name Mickey. So she stopped rapping. I kept the name Mickey. And then Facts was all I wanted to talk about and rhyme about. But it's not spelled Facts. It's spelled with a Z because Z, you know, is stylish. I wanted, because, you know, I like to get fly, you know,
Okay.
YP, hey, you know what I'm saying? So like, that's an everyday thing. So I like to get fly. So I felt like Z would make the word facts look a little flyer, and it did.
It definitely does. So, like, what high school did you go to? What high school and college? I know you dropped out of college. Like, what were you going to school
Yes,
to be a lawyer, right?
yes. So I went to
So,
Stevenson High School.
mm-hmm.
I got accepted to Brooklyn Tech, but during that time in the 90s, first of all, I didn't want to go to Brooklyn Tech. So everybody that's from New York City, y'all know you had to take these standardized tests. You took the test to
Yes.
get into four schools if you was playing instruments. So I took an instrument test to get into LaGuardia, and I did not pass that test. I took the standardized test to get into Stuyvesant, Bronx High School of Science, and Brooklyn Tech. Now, Stuyvesant was in Manhattan, Brooklyn Tech was obviously Brooklyn, and Bronx High School of Science obviously was in the Bronx. The lowest of the scores back in the 90s was gonna get you into the Brooklyn Tech school. So I got into Brooklyn Tech, but I really wanted to get into Bronx High School of Science. During the 90s, mid 90s, Brooklyn was just too crazy for me. I was 14 years old, maybe 13 years old. I didn't want to take the train all the way to Brooklyn, deal with all of the super tough niggas. So, you know, I decided that I was gonna stay in the if I'm gonna be around a super tough group of niggas, I might as well be around niggas that I felt like were my friends, and that was in the
Right.
Bronx. So I went to Stevenson High School in the Bronx.
So how did you transition from about to go to school to become a lawyer, like after high school, to becoming a musician?
So after high
Like,
school, okay, so after high school, the first thing I wanted to do was get money. Because for a long time, like, you know, my parents, they didn't believe in, like, you know, flashy apparel. And for a long time, like, I just was a bum. I was a bum in school because they didn't want me to be fly. My pops was fly, but I wasn't fly. So it wasn't instilled properly in me to let me know the reason why I couldn't get fly. And I saw my pops getting fly. So as soon as I got out of school, the first thing I did was get a job. So I went to temp
okay.
agencies after I graduated, and I started working for a long time. So I worked in a law firm in the mailroom, right? So I worked in a mailroom in a law firm for like 2 years, and then after being in there for 2 years, this is 2004, right? I was like, I think I need to kind of do something better for myself. So I went and got my paralegal certificate, and I became a paralegal. So from 2004 to 2006, I was then a paralegal, right? And while 2006 is when I changed my name to Mickey Fax, and I became Mickey Fax. So I was still working, but I was putting out music on MySpace. And then my A&R, Steve-O, he was like, yo, if you want to really do this, you got to show us that you want to do this and quit. Now, again, I've made money from 2000 to 2006, 2007. So in my mind, we didn't know how to make money in hip hop. We just figured if you hot enough, the money will come. We just didn't know how it was gonna get to us.
Right.
And you know, I had my own apartment at 19 years old. I was out here, like I was living on 132nd Street I was living on Lenox between 132nd and 133rd Street. I had my own apartment at 19 years old. Right
In
next
between
to,
that block?
no, not in between. I was on Lenox. I was
Right
on
across the street from
Lenox.
McDonald's?
Yeah, I
Like right
was
around there?
diagonal. Yes, diagonal. I was diagonal from McDonald's. I was right there. I was right
Oh,
there.
like McDonald's is over there.
Well, back in the days, we called that Methodonald's because that's where all the methadone people went.
They're still there.
They're still there. Okay, so I was in there dolo. Like I had my own crib. Like at 19, so it was just like, you know, it was crazy as a 19-year-old. I can't really see me because of these glasses. It was crazy to be a 19-year-old with my own apartment. So when they was like, yo, you got to do this to get on, I moved back home, and I was going to school to be an attorney. That was the only way my mom would let me stay at home, you know what I'm saying, and do what I was doing. I had to be going to school. So I went to school, And then I would be in school and I just didn't want, I was bored, I was falling asleep in class, and I felt like, yo, if I'm gonna be falling asleep in class, then I don't need to be in class, because I was paying for my own tuition while still trying to get on. So I was like, this is not for me, and I quit. And I dropped out, and I didn't tell my mother I dropped out. So 2007 was the roughest year because I wasn't making money, but I had 10 grand saved. 10 grand in 2007 was all right. Like I made it through I made it through 2007 up until like September. Then it was rough. My mom's kicked me out in September, and then I crashed at so many people's houses until I popped in late 2007, early 2008.
So like, how hard was it for you to like land like a deal?
So I had deals offered to me. So okay, so we started putting out music as a team in 2006.
Who's we?
Okay, it was me, Saint, Steve, Quaz, you know Quaz,
Mm-hmm.
Nakim,
Yeah, I remember
GFC,
Okay.
GFC. So
You did Fresh Crew.
yeah, so we was out, we was running the streets in terms of the Lower East Side and all that, like the scene, the culture of New York City. So like getting a deal, like it was just a very strong presence in the city. So there wasn't really like getting a deal was tough, but we were sitting down with labels because I was buzzing, but they weren't offering nothing crazy up until 2008. And then once 2008 came around and my name was everywhere, everybody was trying to get me signed, but I was still relaxing. I was like, nah, not yet.
Right.
And I waited until I was ready, and I did my deal in 2010, and I signed with Jive Records in 2010.
So where did you like? Who were your musical inspirations coming up though? Like who were your musical inspirations? Like who did you look to for inspiration?
I'm still a big gospel fan, so I was into John P. Key. I was into Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond and all of that. And then as far as the hip hop side, it was Big, it was Nas, it was Snoop, Jay, obviously. And anybody that was in that New York tri-state area or in the West Coast, whoever was popping in the West Coast and the East Coast. I didn't really get into the South until like later on, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it was really the East Coast and the West Coast.
I think the South music, it had to really grow on a lot of people. If you didn't go down South for the summertime, you didn't really get that vibe like that. I think when that whole takeover happened and up here, up north, it was heavy. Like, I think everybody wanted to be from down South. I want to say, like, that takeover started to happen, like, what, 2003, 2004? I remember I would hear a song in Florida in the summertime, and then when I came back to New York, that song would take, like, 2 years to come up here. And vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, our music took forever to get down here, and then somehow, somewhere, all the channels started to merge over, and everybody started to play like all the kinds of the same music. You go somewhere and hear all the same type of music. Like, what you think happened to make that transition happen like that? Like, how did that shift really happen musically?
I think it was 50 Cent.
You think so?
I think it was 50 Cent. I think, well, you got to remember. So 2003, again, I got to keep reminding y'all I had my own crib at 19. So 2003, I was 20 years old. And 50 Cent, he was rapping over down South music on his mixtapes. And when he was putting out music, because he got shot in the mouth, he had the bullet stuck in his mouth. So when he was rhyming, it sounded like he wasn't from New York. He had like a drawl to him that made it sound like he was from down South. And then he was
screwed. He sounds
right.
Screwed.
And then he was rhyming over that kind of music, so it kind of meshed, and it meshed the worlds. That's why he sold so many records, because people, even though he was from New York, he didn't sound like a typical New York nigga. He sounded like he was from, down south, like he was from Atlanta or something like that. So I think he was like the main catalyst for that, and by him doing that, it opened up the world for Lil Wayne. It opened up the world for T.I. to be accepted up here, because we was used to hearing him. So it was easier for people like myself to be acquainted with T.I. and Lil Wayne, et cetera, et cetera. Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
when you first got into the industry, what did you feel like the music industry was missing? Because you said you like around 2010. I'm trying to think. what was I listening to in 2010 besides Beyonce?
In 010, Wale had the record. Wale had the record out. No Hands. So Waka Flocka was out.
Waka Flocka was definitely out.
Fat Joe had put some record out that was crazy.
It's not registering right now.
But Wayne was still out. Drake was heavy.
Yes,
in
Drake was
09,
heavy.
2010.
Yes, Drake, Marvin's Room.
Yeah, that was 2010.
Young Money, Cash Money, Nicki Minaj had came out. Yes,
Nicki Minaj was bubbling. She was bubbling.
Yes.
Yeah, she was bubbling. So
when
that's
you entered
Good
the
Fridays.
game, you were coming in when it was a lot of like upbeat club music, pop bottles. It was like lifestyle music that people were inspired to listen to, like everything. Pop champagne, salacious videos, naked women. Like, what did you feel like the music industry was missing when you entered it? And what did you think you was coming to bring to the music industry?
When I had came out, well, I feel like I entered the industry in 2008 because so I was signed in 2010, but I was in and out the labels because I was one of the first artists that was putting out music for free on the internet. And I was putting out songs once a week, you know what I'm saying? And it was getting blog attention. So labels were paying me and my marketing firm, GFC, they was paying us to get artists popping. So like Nipsey Hussle was a client, Big Crit was a client, Smoke DZA. We had a whole bunch of artists that were clients. And because they didn't, like, the labels didn't know what was happening with the internet. They were still doing radio and DJs, and we was moving digital. So by us doing that, we were dictating what the sound of music was going to transition into. So like when Ye sampled Daft Punk, he had already heard me sample Daft Punk earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had already sampled them before he did Stronger. And I was taking music from the European side. So I was doing up-tempo music. So when I got signed to Jive, I got signed because of my up-tempo dance tracks, right? So I had music that sounded like what LMFAO was doing. But because I was from the Bronx, the label wanted me to make sure I was grounded in the street and in the city of New York. So that's why I did Paradise first. But I had records that was meant for the clubs and stuff like that. They didn't want me to go that route first. They wanted me to establish a bigger fan base with the streets and then go mainstream. But I should have went directly pop. If I would have went directly pop, I'd have probably been like a Flow Rider, honestly. And I should have done it, honestly, because then I would be rich.
Do you feel like the label tried to like box you into one type of category? Because it seems like now people could do any old kind of music that they want to do. Like, a lot of people came into the game not just doing one sound. Like, Nicki has done so many genres of music. Like, her first few years in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely tried to.
Boxed you in?
Yeah, they wanted me to be this street Southern rapper at one point. Like, they wanted me to rap over South shit just for a record to come out. And, you know, I was willing to compromise as long as the rest of the album was me. I was always okay with whatever the first single was, as long as the record came out and as long as the rest of the album I had dictatorship over, which was the agreement. So, but Jive folded, so, you know, things happen, you know. But, you know, I did put out the record with Marsha Ambrosio right before Jive folded for the culture. And it was gonna get added to radio, but then the label folded, and then that was the end of it. And then I got moved to RCA after that. I did another deal with RCA. So RCA was tough because, so when I got signed to Jive, I had a whole team of people that worked at Jive that believed in me. So I was on the same label as Justin Timberlake, Chris Brown. So when people say I got dropped, that's false. If I got dropped, then so did Justin Timberlake and so did Chris Brown. But they didn't get dropped. They got moved to RCA. The same thing with me. I got moved to RCA. There were artists that got dropped. I got moved to RCA. So because these artists are high selling artists, it doesn't matter if the RCA team likes them or not. They're gonna listen to what they're doing because they're making the money. But I'm still growing within the company of Sony. So my whole team that was a part of the Jive structure, who were hired by Jive, was fired. The only person that stayed around was my product manager, Toya Summers. Shout out to her. And we fought tooth and nail for me to stay on the label and put music out. And my A&R did not want to put music out. So I had a record with Bruno Mars. I had a record with John Legend. I had a record with Yellow Wolf. You know, I had Lupe Fiasco co-signing. And then I had Swiss Beats, who was like executive producer. And they still didn't want to they didn't want to put any of my content out. You know what I'm saying? And it was frustrating. So when I saw that they wasn't trying to do any of that, I decided it was time for me to leave. You know what I'm saying? And I left the label.
Do you feel like you were ahead of your time? Like they just didn't know how to market your sound
at
the time? So
absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you feel like what was setting your music apart from everybody else's?
I was doing, like I said before, like the LMFAO music, right? Like that, I was doing that before them, right? Putting music out once a week. I was doing that before Good Friday. Like I was doing that in 2008. Ye did it in 2010. So the Super song that I put out, right? Like I had people doing challenges for that the same way they're doing them now in 2020. Like you can go and look and type in Mickey Fax Super song and type in Chanel Iman. You'll see Chanel Iman doing a dance to the Super song. Right. So I was ahead of the curve with a lot of stuff. But, you know, people didn't. Yeah, I was the first one to put Drake on a record that got noticed. Like, that was me. You know what I'm saying? Like, people didn't really know who Drake was. Like, I put him on Overdose on Life with Travis McCoy from the Gym Class Heroes, you know, and people was like, who is this cat that's rapping with Mickey? Who is this? And little did they know it would be Drake. Like, it was like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just one of those scenarios where, you know, sometimes it's all about timing. But people saw what I was doing and they saw the mistakes I made and they didn't make the same mistakes that I made. So they just perfected what I had already started and trendset it. You know what I'm saying?
What was one of the mistakes that you could say that you made that basically like you walked so the rest of these people can crawl? Like you basically set the tone for all the rest of these other rappers that decided that they were going to go independent and stay independent.
You know, I didn't fight hard enough to try to go pop. That was one thing I should have did. I also didn't I didn't trust my gut, which I felt like I signed. If I don't know what I know now, I wouldn't have signed with Jive, but not because they did me dirty, but because I got moved to a label that did not know anything of what I was trying to do. So I would have signed with Glassnote. Glassnote was trying to sign me, and Glassnote is the same people that signed Childish Gambino. When I turned down Glassnote, they picked up Childish Gambino / Donald Glover, and everything that I was doing, he was doing the exact same thing. I mean, there's a tons. Like 2009, I toured all 2009. I wouldn't have done that. I would have kept putting music out. I was trying to do a project with EA Sports. I was trying to do a whole soundtrack for this racing car game. So, but I was trying to get like 90,000 out of them to do it. Like I was just doing a whole bunch of stuff that I shouldn't have been trying to do early on. I should have just waited. I should have been smarter about the moves I was making, and just kind of followed how the procedure was to get hot in the game, and then start changing it within the game.
But
I was trying to do it.
In your corner though, like who was in your corner that was telling you what moves to make and not moves to make? I mean, I know it's when you come in the industry, it's you, but then you also have like a team, because you and GFC, y'all was pretty much doing what you had to do without the backing of a big record label. So we were,
but see, that's the thing. Like we were kids. We didn't know. We were doing it off the fly. Like we was just making the rules as we were going along. Music wasn't even being sold on iTunes like that.
Right.
You know, people were still, you know, ripping stuff off Z-Share, ripping stuff off Napster, ripping stuff off LimeWire.
Yes,
Like,
I remember
so,
LimeWire.
so like it was new to us. Everything was new. So while we were making waves in the industry was transitioning. So like it was just tough. Like, and we did everything on our own. Our mantra was we don't need a cosign. Like
Right.
we was that militant with it, and it worked for a long time, and until we need, you know, we needed help, and what we really needed was mentorship. If we would have had a little bit more mentorship, we would probably be ahead of the game still right now.
So let's take a shift over into battle rapping because you're an amazing freestyler. I don't think people understand how hard it is to rap on the fly
Hmm.
and to basically battle. Like a lot of people, like a lot of these artists that are in the industry now, I mean, it's like nobody's writing their own music. Nobody really, it's like, you know, they are a product that people are basically marketing and, you know,
Hmm.
they do whatever the label is the machine and they're doing whatever the label is saying. Like, what made you start doing battle rapping? Is that something that you was already doing before or because you can
Nah,
freestyle on the fly?
yeah. I mean, I do the freestyle stuff. Like the freestyle stuff and the battle stuff is two different things. So like the freestyle stuff is me like going to a radio station and just going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Um, I've done I've done a whole bunch of those. You can go on YouTube and find a whole bunch of that stuff. The battle stuff, I was into the culture for a while and I was following it. And when you're into the culture and you give your opinions, you know, like people people always, you know, try to test you and say, well, if you can give your opinion, you can also step in. So I don't consider myself as a battle rapper. I consider myself somebody who makes music and I'm able to go into that world and do it as well. So I've only really done three of them. You know what I'm saying? I did one in 2013, I did one in 2017, and I did one in 2018.
Right.
And when I did them, you know, it's tough. Like it's one of the toughest things I've probably had to do because of the mental strain that goes into your mind. You can only whatever you write down, like you got one chance to perform it flawlessly. Pardon me. And if you choke or whatever, you get heckled and all types of stuff. So it's a tough mental thing. It's like it's one of the only performing arts in the world where you only get one chance to do it and one time only. That's it. But you know, it was cool. You know, I did it. It was fun for when
You
I
want to
did
do
it.
any more battle raps?
I'll probably do one more and then I'm completely done. Like that stuff is really that stuff is and plus now I got a wife and kid. Like these people be wilding, man. They just mad disrespectful. I can't. I'm not. That's
You
not
got
even
more
my
at stake
style.
right now. Somebody come for your son. It's a rap.
Right. Like I'm just walk off stage. I see y'all later. You say him, I'm out. I'm completely out. I'm out. I see y'all later. Bye. Like I'm not gonna fight nobody. I'm gonna just walk off. Like I see you later. Y'all I don't need because I don't need the money in the back end. I literally just leave.
Right.
Like bye. You know what I mean?
So you a husband and a father now. How long have you been married? Aisha, correct?
Yes. I've
Yes,
been
I follow
married.
Aisha on
Yes.
Instagram. So
I've
how
been
long have you guys been married now?
4.5 years now.
So how is
Four and a
married
half
life?
years. Married life is cool. I mean, it's a lot of work, you know. Marriage is a lot of work. I think people, you know, I see a lot of memes online like I want to love like this. I want this type of love and you be seeing people sneakers together and then you see people on the bed all hugged up and happy. Yo, that shit ain't real, B. Like that shit is like
Why would you say that?
because it's not like that shit is like I like that's a whole nother topic in terms of told you your two buns are cute. That's a whole nother topic in terms of just like the meme culture. But
Right.
like marriage is hard in terms of, you know, finances. You're supposed to marry somebody that helps you move up. You know, also just you know, you have to have the same mindset when it comes to religion, not really politics, intimacy and where your goals are when you're moving forward. It's a lot of work. People change when you get as you grow older, you change. So you really should marry your best friend. Um, but for the most part, it's cool. It's cool. It's a good look. It's definitely something that I encourage people to do, but do it with the right person. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would recommend.
And your son's birthday, I think he's a week after Gray. I think our sons are a week apart. When's his birthday?
January 26th. He was born the
First
day
of all,
Kobe
not
died.
January. Why I feel like he was born in July? Why do I think he was born in July?
No, July. What are you talking about?
I
Last
don't
year,
know. I
July?
feel like she was pregnant. I don't know. I felt like she was pregnant around the same time I was pregnant.
She was
I
pregnant.
thought
Y'all
she
were
was.
pregnant at the same time, but like she she gave birth in January. You gave birth when in July?
Yes, I thought he was like a. I thought your son was like a week after Gray. I don't know why. Like once you
I
have a
mean that.
baby, your time,
Oh
everybody's the
yeah.
same age. I can't remember anything. So how has fatherhood changed you? Like, how do you feel about being a father to a male child at that?
Um, it's definitely life changing. It's unbelievable, honestly. Like I'm 37 years old, so I had my first kid at 37, which is crazy for a black man in this time in this era. Um, but he's definitely changed me to go harder. Last year, I so in 2009, 2010, 2011, those were my biggest years in terms of making money financially. Like I was easily doing six figures a year.
Right.
Last year was the first time I passed six figures again, and this year I was gonna double it. Before COVID, I was on my way to doubling what I had made last year. And a lot of it was due to my son. I began just looking into different financial things to invest in, from tech to working on Broadway plays. I was working on two Broadway plays, one that was involved with Disney. And I was also, preparing music. I'm in a couple of movies that's going to be coming out later this year um, on Netflix. I looked into some life insurance stuff. I've been looking into index mutual funds to just create generational wealth and anything that can keep me and my wife and my son afloat. Uh, and COVID kind of messed it up a little bit, but I'm still on course to doing what I'm doing so we can rock out. You know what I mean? But uh, in essence, he got me on my grind, mentally to get to that financial bag a little bit harder. And just kind of, people always tell me don't rush for him to walk and talk, enjoy this moment, and that's what everybody's saying. So like I'm really appreciating him now. Like I'm like in love with him now. Him trying to stand up, him trying to sit up, and him crawling, and him making weird noises. I'm loving that side of him right now. I'm trying to, embrace it as much as possible before he starts being a terror, so, you know,
I don't think he'll be a terror. That's the first child is never the terror. It's the second child. It's the second.
oh man,
Trying to
oh
raise
man.
tearing up this house. It's the
I
second
bet he
child.
is. I bet he
Gray's
is. I bet he
definitely on
is.
the go. He's ready to go. He'll be one next month. Well, no, this month. He'll be one
This
this
month.
month. We're in July already. He'll be one.
What is his birthday? What is his
So how
birthday?
you feeling? July 25th.
Okay.
He'll be 1 year
Okay.
old. He'll be definitely
Nice.
one. So how you feeling about everything now? Like what would you take away from COVID? Because I know that COVID shut down everything. Anything and everything and whatever plan that you had was about to do, everything is being reshifted. We have like a pandemic. We have a racism, all kinds of things that are happening. Like, do you feel drained? Because I know like a lot of us are feeling like overwhelmed and drained. within the Black community. Is that a myth?
Yeah, man, I gotta get right. Gotta get right, girl. I'm the first. Somebody said I'm the first guest that's
Yes,
eating.
I was like, I'm not even gonna acknowledge the fact that you're eating. I'm gonna pretend like I'm not watching you eat. Like you like literally eating. And
I had a wing. I'm eating key lime pie, some chicken wings, and some nips. You know, you family, so I could do this. You know what I'm
absolutely
saying?
right. That's why I ain't say nothing. Get as comfortable as possible.
You know what I mean? But COVID, man, this has been an interesting time for, you know, Black people, our society, and our culture. You know, I'm really hoping that there's a renaissance of musicians that, you know, put forth some music that is life changing and culture shifting. You know, a lot of conspiracy theorists have just popped up out of nowhere. You know, I'm trying my best to navigate through this musically. You know, I feel like I have a voice. I feel like people love my voice when it comes to things like this. So I'm trying to be careful with what I say and how I say it, especially now that I have a child. Like he's gonna be listening to to my music. So I'm trying to capture this moment, you know, the best way I can. But you know, COVID has been rough. You know, I miss my family. I miss church. I miss being around people. You know, I miss you know, communicating with people in person. I miss events. I miss, you know, handshakes and hugs and laughing and being able to travel. Like I wanted, you know, I was supposed to buy a house 2 or 3 months ago in Miami. And Florida is so messed up. Like I can't do nothing. My hands are tied. You know, so I'm just kind of waiting and sitting back and waiting and hoping that the economy rejuvenates as well as the market in terms of
Right.
houses, pardon me, drops in terms of the interest rates. So you know, I'm just here, man. I'm trying to take this thing day by day. You know, the country in terms of stimulus packages and unemployment is good. I feel like we as Black people need to take advantage of that as much as possible. Whatever monies you can get out of these times, take it as a blessing because the money is there. And you know, white people and other ethnicities are taking advantage of it. They are not ashamed of it. They are not ashamed of free money, and neither should we be.
Nope.
So, you know, I implore everyone to go out and file for unemployment every Sunday because we do it every single Sunday, and get that money and save that money. And you know, somebody saying the rates are 3.8. I'm hoping that they drop down. Well, at one point it was at 2.9. When I was looking, it was at 3.2. Then it dropped to 2.9, and at one point it was even at 2.2. I'm hoping it gets to 1.9, but we'll see. But in essence, you know, COVID has really, you know, reawakened this creative side of me to want to talk to my people and be as inspirational as possible.
So this is the part where I like to say free game. Like if there's any free game, like anything you could let like the fellas know in the comment section, anything you want to say, anybody that was, you know, want to get in the music industry, life, relationship, breaking generational curses, anything you want to touch on, any free game you can provide.
There's so much, you know, you know, there's so much game.
Just free game. Like I said, everybody is not going to be able to get Mickey to come on and say something and talk to them. So this is like the most intimate setting that I could possibly find to get you to basically just put something like drop a gem. If you could drop a gem right now, what would it be?
If I was to drop a gem, what would it be? Delete Acorn, delete any of those apps that takes like pennies from whatever you purchase and round it off to delete all that stuff. That stuff is nonsense.
Why? Why you say that? I mean, I don't have any of that, but I'm just saying, why would you say that?
Well, it's not really investing. You know what I'm saying? It's a it's I don't want to say it's a con, but it's not really you like making any type of like financial gain, financial movement. Like there's no lateral financial movement with that stuff. You know, I speak to a financial advisor all the time, and I also speak to my father, who is an incredible manager of money. Like he worked at the post office all his life, and he's worth about $3 million. But that was because he knew how to save money, he knew how to move his money around, he knew what to invest in. So I trust him, and I trust my guy who's a financial advisor down in Houston. And you know, these guys are worth millions of dollars. And you know, when I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get into Acorn, I'm gonna get into this app and this app, and I'm gonna put a couple pennies here and there, and a couple dollars, $2-3 a month, and I'm gonna be nigga, just you might as well just go and get a bond or get a mutual fund. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you know, look into, you know, obviously real estate is still out here in terms of money. You know, real estate, you know, if Bitcoin is your thing, you know, get into Bitcoin. That's not my thing. Index mutual funds, index mutual funds, index mutual funds. Please research that. That's much better than moving stocks, getting into the stock market, unless you're a day trader and you want to get your money really quick, money in, money out. You know, the people that are wealthy, they don't work 9 to 5s, and if they do work 9 to 5s, they move their money around. You got to make your money work for you. So while you're sleeping, your money is working. You know, any way you can make residual income and having multiple streams of income, please get into it. Whatever your whatever your hobby is, your hobby can be a career. So
I always said I wouldn't want none of my hobbies to be my career though. It take out the fun out of most of the hobbies if I gotta depend on it for $1.
That's a good point.
If I
But
if I take all the hobbies and all the things that I could do hair, I could do makeup, I could do fashion, I could do all these things. But how do I get myself into a place where I could go ahead and make enough money to quit my day job and be able to make money and take care of me and my children? Like, how do I do that? Because I feel like there'd be some pressure, whereas though now this is no longer fun. This is my means to an end. This is how I make my money.
right. Well, you always have to have a cushion, right? So for me, right, I was lucky enough to not have a cushion. I didn't have to fall back onto a wife or a kid. It was just about rent. And I was able to kind of find myself and see what I wanted to do and wanted to be. So hip hop was what I wanted to do. So I was able to make a hobby, which was hip hop, into my career. So now, as I want to retire from hip hop at 45. In order for me to do that, you know, I have to move my money around. I have to get into different things. I have to be able to take the disposable income that I would purchase on clothing and sneakers and trips and things like that, and move it into independent places where it can make its money. So, for instance, I took out a life insurance policy. It's a 7-figure life insurance policy. There was 3 reasons why I took out a life insurance policy. One was because I did not want the embarrassment of my family to create a GoFundMe for me, you know, and no knock to people that do that. But I feel like, you know, that's pointless. If you pay $20 a month, if something were to ever happen to you, your family can walk away with $60,000 to $70,000.
Right.
You know, so I took out a 7-year life insurance policy, not 7 million, pardon me, a 7-figure life insurance policy. So my family will be taken care of in the event something happens to me.
Right.
So that's one. 2, I want to make sure that they're secure and they're set. So the first one was I didn't want the embarrassment of a GoFundMe. 2, I want to make sure that they're secure and set. And 3, you can borrow against the life insurance policy.
Right.
So,
right.
So if for instance, if I wanted to be like, yo, I just want to take out $50,000, it's my money. I could take it out and, you know, put it into my son's college fund or put it into buying another home. I can do a myriad of things. So, you know, that's just one that's just one of the things that I decided that I wanted to do. Um, Also, investing into tech. So I'm ambassador of Kitty Credit, which teaches kids how to build their credit
Okay.
from the ages of 8 to 13. And it's basically centered around chores. So uh, if you do a chore, that builds up your credit score, so to speak, on this app. And you can download this app. It's Kitty Credit spelled with a K, so KIDDIE KREDIT.
Right now.
Yeah, and so this teaches children about credit. So let's say your daughter, right? You tell your daughter every Tuesday, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday she has to do the dishes. So let's say for the first month she does the dishes. Her credit score is high because that's like her using, that's like her using a credit card basically. Um, and now she's like, okay, mom, I did this for this month. Could you get me this Barbie doll? And you'll be like, sure, I'll get you the Barbie doll. You have great. There you go. There you go. One more time. One more time. Let me screenshot that.
Hold on, now I gotta go back. I don't know how to go back. Hold on.
Hold on. Now I gotta go back. Now I gotta
I'm
go
gonna do it
back.
this way.
Okay.
Hold on. People are trying to send me a message. Let me see. His Wi-Fi is bad. Hold on. Let me see. He gotta come back. Let me see. Why are you sending me a request to come in the live? Yeah, just hit me back. Just do it again.
That was my fault. I'm so sorry.
I'm not saying you in the Bronx with that Wi-Fi.
No. I pressed the side button instead of when I was trying to screenshot it. I cut the phone off. I cut us off. There you go. One more time. One more time. Hold it right there.
Don't turn it off.
Boom. Boom. Got it. So it's basically I'm the ambassador for this. So okay, so your daughter, she does this. So for the month she asks you for a Barbie doll. Boom, you got the Barbie doll. Boom, boom, boom. So now her score is like 750, right? Then the next month she doesn't do the dishes. You gotta. Now she's getting demerits. She's getting demerits, and now her
score gonna be a 0.
so right. So now it's a 0, right? But let's say she keeps doing good. Let's say she keeps doing good and she keeps asking for gifts. That's also going to bring her credit score down. The same way if we keep asking for credit cards all the time.
I see what you're doing there.
Right.
I see what you did right there. I see
Right.
that. Oh,
Right.
I got you.
Right. So
that's really smart. Okay, I'm downloading it. I'm keeping it. I'm gonna go ahead and show it to her. She already knows that she doesn't have any debt. She already said I don't have any debt because I don't have any credit or anything that I don't owe anybody.
Right.
I don't owe anybody, so I'm not in debt. So I'm wealthy. That's what she told me one day. She said I'm wealthy because I don't owe anybody.
But now you need to put her to the test. Now every chore that you have around the house.
That is chores. Why?
Well, then now she's gonna be in debt, and you have to hold her to that. You have to hold her to that.
She just asked for $4 for one of these apps that she's already has a problem. She keep asking for $4 or $5 for whatever this app that is in her phone that it updates and it charges her and she has to pay to update to get the new updates for it. I wish I would have went to school and learned how to make apps.
They're expensive. It's very expensive.
I would have learned how to make apps. That would have been making a whole lot of money. So what else and where can we see you? I know during the COVID, it's probably not much we can really do, but are you working on any new music?
Yes. So I have like 3 or 4 projects that I am, preparing to release for the people. One of the projects is done. I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna release it. It's called Hugo, which is juice in Spanish. It's with this other guy named Fly D'Antoni. We created this group called Black what is our group called? Black Dahlia.
Okay.
And it's me being more ratchet, but not too ratchet, but it's ratchet. You know, it gives me gives me a way to, you know, unleash that side of me. And then after that, I have another project called Guidance that I'm releasing with another artist named Jared Michael. That should be coming out in like October or something like that. Then I have another project with another artist called Blue. We won the freshman double XL cover together. That project is probably going to drop before the year's over, or maybe in January. And then I'm going to start releasing my solo stuff. I have two projects that I'm currently working on right now. One is Mouse 2, and then I have another project that I'm holding close to the heart. But it's a very special project that with a crazy concept that is basically going to be my dedication to my people, my culture, my people, black men, black women, and the babies. It's really for the babies. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that, you know, that project stands the test of time for the people. So that's basically what I'm working on right now. And obviously there's some movies and stuff that I'm part of. One of them is called The 40-Year-Old Version. I make a cameo in there. You know, I got some music in there. Also, The Prince of Cats. That's another movie that I'm a part of that will be coming out on Netflix. So, you know, just keep your eyes peeled for a lot of the things that I got going on. You know, I'm just doing my best to stay afloat musically and be the best father and husband that I could be.
And great friend with this knit, this the knit for me. I mean, each time you take it, it's taking me out, yo. What
Yeah,
is
you
that?
know how I go.
Fireball?
Yes, Fireball. You know how I go.
Oh man. Well,
Yes, yes,
say
and you
thank
know.
you. I really appreciate it. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows, but Nikki is actually my real friend. He's like my actual real friend. Gives great advice, sound advice, great judgment. I think when I was 30, you gave me some of the best advice because I definitely was feeling like I wasn't where I needed to be before I turned 30. But I definitely appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Kiss your baby for me and tell your wife I said hello, okay?
Yes. Kiss your baby for me. Look at Simone, y'all. Look at her, y'all. Don't hang up on me yet. Come on, look at that. Look at her.
I'm trying.
Look at.
I'm trying.
She doing her thing, y'all. Make sure y'all support her.
I'm growing up, but I'm trying.
You're doing a beautiful job at it, Queen. Keep doing your thing, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Peace.